Hello everyone, I'm here today with Expedition Northwest Passage HMS Terror Edition. This is a game that originally came out over 10 years ago, but had a recent Kickstarter here in 2024. This was sent to me by Surfin Meeple, and I'm going to tell you what I think about the game after we take a look at how to play. Here we are with the main game board set up for 2 players. The game plays 1 to 4. I've played it at 1 to 4, but here you'll see that we have an area of 1, 2, and 3. This is kind of a puzzle piece type of thing that we have going on, so that we have the whole main board like that. We also have our individual player boards for 1 and 2. You randomly select who's going to go first and place one of their explorer meeples up here, and then the other people go below that, depending on turn order. The other 7 go here on their player board. Their ships go here. Their sleds go here. Starting with the last player, you're going to get one of these main tiles off of this board. You select one and then refill immediately. So the second player has selected one, the first player has selected one, and then we refilled immediately. We have these smaller tiles that are always available. The rest of the tiles are in the bag here. Once you've selected the tiles, going in reverse turn order, you're ready to go. But let's talk about some of the things that are going on here. In a 2-player game, we only have these 2 scoring tiles for reaching the Northwest Passage, which is a tile printed on the board here. We also have these 1, 2, 3, and 4 starting tiles for Greenland here. And we have our passage of time. We're going to be playing 10 rounds in this game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, where this controls where the ice or the water is. So anything below this line right now is water, and then anything above that is ice. But we do have land formations on these islands. So the land can always be available, but it's not going to connect via the tiles across the board. But the water can turn into ice, so that you can get all the way from here to here via sled if you needed, maybe. But we'll talk about the actions. We also have the scoring tile for Greenland for a 2-player game. And like I said, we're basically ready to go. So as you play, you're going to be taking your player board, which is shown here, and I'll zoom in on that in just a second. And you're going to be taking actions with your explorers. So like this first action I could take, they move from the active side to the exhausted side. So I could take one of the 4 face-up tiles, one of these tiles. The next action is discard the 4 face-up tiles, and then refill the board, selecting a new one. So this one costs 1, this one would cost 2. This next action is play one of those tiles from hand that you have. Remember, you start with 1. The next action is to move either your sled or your ship. The next action is to move workers from your ship to your sled. So in this case, I would move here. These would go over here, and then my sled would go out on the board in a land space. Now, you want to be careful with that, because if you leave behind your ship or your sled, so you do have to be careful that when you put your sled out, if your sled gets abandoned, then you could end up with workers that are out on the board somewhere, and for each one of them, it's -2 points. And let's go ahead and talk about the other points that you can get. You'll notice that these tiles can have symbols like this. Now you have to actually pick up the symbol. That is picking up the kayak or the compass, picking up the Inuit or the cairn. It takes 3 actions to pick up the kayak or the compass, or 2 actions to pick up the Inuit or the cairn and get their help. As you're doing all that, you're going to be aware of that, because based on where you're at, that's going to be a certain number of points. So we have a 1 here and a 2 here and a 3 here. That's related to the points. So the compass, depending on where you're at, will be worth 1, 2, or 3 points. And then you take those points on your individual compass and tracker of your points here. And you just keep track of it like that. And then you have a 70 plus here if you need it. But we also have 1, 2, or 3 for where you pick up the boat. This symbol here is related to cartography and filling in islands. So let's say I was able to make an island here. We have 1, 2, and 3 tiles that are part of this completed island. I look here and I see for islands that have 2 or 3 tiles there, that's worth 1 point. So if I can make a complete island that has more tiles in it, it's going to be worth up to 4 points. There's also points for complete sets of every wooden piece. This includes the map, the compass, the boat, the Inuit, and the cairn. So if I have all of those for every complete set, I'm going to get an additional 6 points at the end of the game. So a little bit of set collection going on too. All right, so that's the basics of what I do on my turn. On my turn, I can like I said, play tile. So that would have been one action where I had moved a worker down here to the exhausted area. I don't actually have this map yet, but then I could move my ship onto this tile because it's sunny here. So right now, all this water is accessible. And what I have to be aware of and take account as I move is that I might be helping out the next person, or maybe even two people down the line as this all develops. So as long as I'm connected properly, let's say I had picked up this tile, and that would have been another action. Then I could play that tile for one, and that would refill right away. I just have to always be aware that I can't make an illegal placement that would make it so that I couldn't put an island down or do something like that. Like I always have to connect the pictures, right? So once I'm able to do that, I'm going to just continue moving on. So here I could move my, actually, let's see here. So I placed one, that would have been one. I grabbed one, that would have been one. I played that one, that would have been one. And then I could move my ship for a total of, let's see here, 1, 2, and 3. So I could go from Greenland, 1, 2, and 3. And then maybe my last action is I want to be able to get that Inuit tile. So I'm just going to take that last tile and have that there. Like I said, it is unlimited how many tiles we have, and this refills right away. The game will continue in this manner until we have completed all the rounds of play, where we will take as many actions as we want and then pass, and the next person will take as many actions as they want, and then we move the time marker. As this moves around, you'll notice that right now, everything is currently unfrozen as far as water is concerned. But when it comes around to here, the only thing that's going to be unfrozen is this very small strip down here, because we just compare with this line here to the lines on the grid. And so if my ship were up here, say, let's, I don't know, let's pretend we've done some stuff to make some progress this way. We could do this. And maybe even, I don't know, something like this. If my ship were up here, so it's made its way here, and we get to this point, then my ship is frozen, and I would have to get all of my people off of the ship using my sled. So that's just something to be aware of. You can do kind of two different things in this game. You can try to rush over here to the Northwest Passage and get that 10 points in the 2-player game. It's up to 15 points in the 4-player game. Or you can focus more on the exploration thing. It just kind of depends what the other player is doing, and you're reacting to that too. But you definitely want to get back over to Greenland and over here. Otherwise, you're going to lose out on that chance for the 6 points, but you got to time it right too. You want to get back to Greenland, not lose your ship. I guess losing 2 points wouldn't be that big of a deal. If you want to like just take your time going around and doing stuff on the ice, you could do a lot of exploration stuff. So the game does work that way. I find that it plays differently at 2, 3, and 4. Let's go ahead and talk about my feelings about the game, though, now that we've seen the basics of gameplay. Here's what I like about the game. The game does offer a good amount of exploration. I think it is thematic in that sense that, like, ice changes over time, and you can't always guarantee exactly when some things are going to happen. So in some ways, that's a little bit less thematic because you can plan for it, you can see what's coming, but you can't plan for what the other player has in their hand. So that part integrates well between the two different parts. And if you want to do exploration, there's a lot of points there. If you want to just do the set collection via hopping around, that's fine too. But you could also go around and steal things if somebody is just taking their time doing a lot of that too. There's a little bit of managing what the other player is doing and when they're doing that, as far as timing related to getting to the Northwest Passage and coming back and collecting things from sets and seeing what's available out on the sideboard here with the different tiles that come out, and when you should grab those and what you need, and doing all of that sort of thing so that your neighbor doesn't get what you need. I found that I like the game best at 2 and 3. I played it at solo. 2, 3, and 4. At 4, the game got a little bit meaner than I wanted it to be. Some people might like that, but it also seemed a little bit crowded for what was going on. And by the time it got around to your turn again, it was hard to plan in the same way as the 2 and 3 player game. I liked the ability to plan for things, have some time to do some things without making it overly analyzed and too heavy that way. It's an easy game to learn, easy game to teach. They did a good job with the components. I like the nice wooden bits that come in this version of the game. You get canoes, you get the other tokens. You have all of this available to you. It is pretty satisfying to get that whole collection of the items at the end for additional 6 points. Plus you got the points for these things as you got them. You can definitely also do that thing where you're just like focusing on making islands and getting those islands to the right size, which is a different and fun way to play too. That's not going to get you tons of points, but if you're doing that alongside the set collection, then you're going to have some fun with that, of figuring out the puzzle of where you want to grab these pieces and when you're going to grab them. Overall, I can recommend this game. I think it's a good game. At all player counts, you should check out the cooperative mode too if you're into that. If you're into solo games, there might be enough here for you. There might not. The rules are available though. It is the type of thing where you are solving more of a puzzle than anything else though. There is a deck of cards that add some randomness in terms of events that happen. Those events do things like this: remove all Inuit person tokens from tiles, or lose crew members equal to the zone your ship is in -1, gain 2 morale. So there's food and morale that you're managing in that solo game, and you have to be aware of that. It was an interesting and well thought out solo mode with a full game there. It just wasn't for me in terms of what I'm looking for in a solo game. Overall, a good game, well done. The production is very nice. I like just about everything about it. There's lots of nice details going on here. It's a good game. Nice to see a classic redone. Expedition Northwest Passage, the HMS Terror Edition. Let me know what you think of the game, whether you've played the original or the new one, or you're looking forward to trying it out. Thanks for watching and happy gaming.